Ciao ragazzi, you've joined Schnesny Presents. My name is Bethany and I'm the host of our Inside Hotel series. Today I'll be speaking with Manfredi of Susafa Resort.
Hi Bethany, how are you?
Thank you so much for joining me in our series. I'd first love to know a little bit about your background and what propelled you to enter the hospitality space.
Actually, it's not my background at all. We are farmers. So when I start to be involved in this business, it was because in this I think it was the summer of 2000 or the summer of 1999 we decided to renovate the masseria, which is a family property but was used for agriculture activities. And at a certain point, we actually, my parents realized that to maintain this building for agriculture activities, it was not convenient anymore. It was extremely expensive. So they decided to move all the agriculture activities, tools, and machines on some new buildings, and we start these renovations. And step by step, actually, I realized that was a nice job. So in 2008, we opened the door of the masseria to the international market, to the all the people that was interest to visit the center of Sicily in an active farm.
That's amazing. What gave you the ideas to open to the public, to open your family estate? Had you studied economics or?
I studied agrarian, so I had agronomic studied, and after the university, I did a master in general management. I used to work in a completely different sector. I was in electronic distributions. So in 2008, I was in Milan, and I decided to come back in the family property, which I love because I grew up there. I spent practically almost every summer into Safa when I was little, and I grew up listening and learning from my grandma memories. So the environment, the story of Susafa always fascinate me. So at that point, it was I say 2008. I decided to come back because it's just the bond you have with your land or with your heritage.
Yeah, something is calling you from your heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that having lived in Milan and working in Milan, it would have given you an interesting perspective, being able to show city folk what it's like in an original farm environment, an agricultural environment.
Absolutely, it helps you to judge in a good way, or any way to judge what you miss. So when you live in a big city and you have a different lifestyle and a life rhythm, you consider nature and all the things actually we do now in Susafa on a different scale.
And along this journey, did you receive mentorship?
Probably my grandma, which is not a mentorship in the tourism industry, but no, I did not had any specific mentorship on the hotellerie section. It's just my desire to recreate the original environment of Susafa and let guests able to enjoy it. Susafa has a very long history. It starts more than 800 years ago, and it the meaning of Susafa, which in Sicilian it's very simple to say, it's the place where people know how to do things. It's a sort of knowledge place. So in before the agrarian reform in Italy, which was in around 1960, Susafa developed a community of almost 600 people, completely self-sufficient, and they used to produce almost everything they need. So that's inspired me to create this business around the farm and to recreate that environment with the vegetable garden, with the fruit garden, all these things.
Ecological, and at this moment in time, and in this moment in history, this is so important, and so many people are wanting to learn more about how to create their own kitchen gardens or their herb gardens, how to wash without chemicals. So it's a really critical moment where you can share Susafa with the world.
Yeah, it is, and I'm really happy to have choose this way because, of course, the global situation and COVID experience is definitely not a good thing. But I believe that in some way it will teach us to change our lifestyle and to be a bit more prudent on, let's say, several behavior, which is not just the interpersonal behavior, but also consume environment is argument.
Yeah. I work in the fashion space, and reading more and more about legislations in Europe starting to fine and impose fines on fashion brands for the end of life cycle of a garment. So fashion brands in the future are going to have to consider how at the end of that product being worn, how can they take that back and repurpose it into a new product. So it's really fascinating.
I think so, yeah, I totally agree.
And so if we were to look at your customer, are they more inclined to relax and take time to meditate at Susafa, or is it more recreational? Are they going out with you and learning more about agriculture and herbs and the kitchen, cucina?
I believe it's absolutely both. For sure, meditation, listening the birds, and and just chilling out, waiting the day that goes from the beginning to the end. So it's a very can I use the word holistic place? It's very silent. We are far of any village or any houses. You are surrounded from nothing, so just nature and silence. But on the same times, if you like, you can for sure enjoy all our activities, from a simple walk in the vegetable or the fruit or herbs garden by yourself or with the chefs. But you can also enjoy our most technical agriculture activities. In June, we do the cherry harvest. In July, we do the wheat harvest. August, it's particularly dedicated to vegetable garden harvest because we have, all the very summer vegetables. Yeah, you can definitely participate. We have even developed a new program called the Modern Farmer, which is based on the adoption of a field or a plant. So with through this program, you became a member of the community, Susafa community. We'll start in April with cooking class online, and we will start to develop a dedicated area for the mother farmer, which allowed you to listen to the registration, download the recipes, and follow a sort of seasonal program of how to heat and how to use the seasonal ingredients. And very soon we will also add a webcam to the field, so you will also be able to see how your field grow and when your product will arrive at your home.
That's amazing. I love this.
Yeah.
Have you worked in conjunction with an agency on this program, or have you done all of this in-house?
No, we're doing it. This is I mean, our own program. We have our own e-commerce. You can find all the information on shop.susafa.com. It's a sort of a new way to consider the travel, or is a sort of travel experience when you can travel.
Yeah. And in the meantime, it's home based, and I love that.
It's ecological. It's sustainable. It has so many interesting points, I believe.
And the greatest part of it, it's not just that you are traveling to Sicily and visiting Susafa and you are living an experience for a week. It is that you are at home, you are learning all of this new knowledge, and you're likely to go and share that knowledge about home cooking, preparation, seasonal produce with your friends and your family, and they start to adopt the same lifestyle. So it's a chain reaction.
Yeah, you that's exactly what I think. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about the processes that you put into place last year when coronavirus first hit Italy? Was there anything that you needed to change significantly about your operation?
There's a seasonal opening, which is focused, of course, on the summer period. So people mainly stay outside and not inside. So we sanitize every room, every check-in and check-out. And of course, we have changed some operations in terms of evening or afternoon turn down. It's on request and not anymore as automatic, because we try to reduce as much as possible the entrance of staff in the room. Same operation on the common area, but the restaurant is a 300 meters square with an average height of 7 meters. So for 18 rooms, so 36 people, the volume it's huge. It's almost like to be in an open space. We have keep window and open and door open to also to prevent even more. So little things that doesn't really change a lot on our operations, but of course every little details to be more safe.
I want to talk about your kitchen because it is grand. When I was writing an article for our first print edition, I was researching Susafa, and the photographs of your chef interacting with guests in that open space on the terrace. It's very impressive. Can you tell us about your chef and the menu?
So all the food experience, it's related what I said at the beginning about the history of Susafa. So what we have decided already a few years ago, do not have any compromise in terms of industrial product or not seasonal products. So we have decided to produce our own food and to create our menu on what is available in the farm. All the products that we do not produce comes from the very close region, let's say no more than 20 kilometers, but very often it's even less. We are working as a partnership with local producer, and we check that they produce with the same ethic and identity we have. Probably the 70% of the food it's based on vegetables than not on meat. Interpreted the let's say that the inspiration is in part on the tradition, but it's really let's say it's a very Italian food. I want to say, you know, that we have the might of the grandma or the mama. So how our grandma used to cook in I mean daily. So we don't really like to do anything too much sophisticated or you know too much technical. We like to use our fresh product that we pick daily, and daily we invent or we do some plate. Of course there are some special plate that really like to the guest or that really represent the Mediterranean, Sicilian and traditional culture, and we replace it, but the menu change constantly, and it's really follow the season. Just to give you an example, in March, April, when we open, we use a lot all the wild herbs, which grow everywhere. So with that, we do side dish, but we also do filling for the pasta or condiments. We really use it a lot.
It definitely sounds like my kind of menu. Right. I'm a vegan, and your menu sounds delicious. Nice. I understand that you're running the show. You are coming up with the ideas and implementation of all of these really great initiatives. But if you could take a week out of your schedule, where would you travel to? Where is your ideal destination? I'm not a big fan of the cities, so capital trips. I'm totally addicted to sustainability and any kind of green practice. So I normally, I mean, we because I travel with the family, decide normally to have as much as sustainable travel as possible. I like nature, so any kind of the world where you can have a nature experience, food, high quality food experience, it's interesting, and I believe the world is full of these places. So I don't have a specific place in my mind. Thank you so much for joining me as part of our interview series, Manfredi. It's been a delight to speak with you. Thanks for being a part of Szczesny Presents. If you're enjoying our Inside Hotel series, remember to click on the subscribe link below or visit szczesny.co.uk, where Arthur and I would be more than happy to help book your very next vacation. We have just launched a crowdfund to help support us in volume 2 of our print publication. So ensure to check out the links below, and until we see you in Italia, arrivederci.